Hello everybody and welcome back to another Cuboid Sandbox. Okay, so we've got the next scenario set up, and when you don't look directly at when you look at it all, it's kind of a mesh. You can't really tell what this is an ordered thing. So let's get off to explaining color by color. So blue first. Now the blues are arranged in a circle, a small group here, and then two groups outside. Now this scene takes place 1,000 or 500 years before the rebellion even existed, back during the time of the Slavellian Alliance. So we ran across the alliance of Auminists earlier. The Slavellian Alliance is what became of southern and eastern Eastern Europe, as as the world divided into alliances. Eventually they became one giant alliance, the Alliance of Alliances. Yo dog, I heard you like alliances. So the Allies, but the Slavellian Alliance had control of other planets in the solar system. This took place on Venus, in a biology base, an alien construction base. Now, last time, the Shann'el were the winners, so they are coming back, resurfacing here as an earlier brood. So the Slavellian Alliance created the Znala. Now, Znala, in Russian, which is the main language spoken by the Slavellian Alliance, Znala is like a feminine object, knew, the past tense of to know. So, basically, the entire point of the Shann'el, they were named because they were made using old technology on Venus. They didn't have the place to build aliens before, but now that they had it, they used old technology to create an old race, one that's not as strong as some of the new races. This being the Reds, which are very, very confined inside the lab, being created, the Ry'lehans, named after Ry'leh, which is Ry'leh, which is Cthulhu's birthplace. They were named this, though not known as it now, but they caused insanity via their screams, which was used to fight. Now, the entire conflict breaks out when Ry'lehan scientists, or when the Ry'lehans being created go mad and start attacking the Znala. The Znala, knowing themselves as the Shann'el, so they knew it back as one word before. But yeah, these guys start fighting and trying to kill off the Ry'lehans, and this gets the Slavellians as well into this. So let's just distribute these guys. Um, 27. Okay, it's time to watch. And everyone goes about their business at the laboratory, but instantly, the Znala run over to the Ry'lehan food source. The few Slovennian scientists are trying to break up everything, but the Ry'lehans and the Znala are still fighting. There's no stopping them. The Znala instantly take the lead in population. Holy crap, I forgot to put food spawn on. The Znala instantly take the population lead, as that was how their race was made, using human ideals, so that reproduction was made very, very easy and simple for them. The Ry'lehans are struggling to survive, being a very, very new race, and the Slovennians, well, they've got their resources, need be. A small riot between the Znala and the Slovennians are just happening over here with a couple Ry'lehans, which the The Znala instantly go for the Ry'lehans and kind of leave the scientists alone, though the scientists are trying to break up the fight. Now it's just the Ry'lehans and the scientists fighting in the middle, with most of the Znala destroyed, and the Znala have more moved towards the western hemisphere of the laboratory. The Slovennians a group of Slovennian scientists starts running away, but I don't think they'll be able to survive out here in the southern outskirts. This planet Venus has never been one for colonization, and it's only a very small part that was colonized. The Ry'lehans are still gnawing away at the ginormous food source they have. You have to kind of think, where are the Ry'lehans going to move from where they are? They're kind of stuck. The scientists have a very, very nice way to get around, though the southern colonies look like they're going to end up dying off. These Znala just had a mass extinction as they were trying to get away from the fight. Many of the Znala pacifists were killed off by lack of food. And the Ry'lehans, it looks like it's the end of the Ry'lehan food, but they're just swarming together. Wow, that was a lucky food spawn. Cthulhu would be proud. The poor Slavs know nothing about this. They didn't think that making a race would spur such an outburst. So they're clinging to what few supplies they have, while the Znala and the Ry'lehans are scavenging or using what they had in the labs from when they were created. However, a large Ry'lehan extinction as they run out of food in the lab, which is glowing very, very white. As we hit 365 population, the Znala down here scavenging what they can, while the Slovennian scientists seem to be starting to pull ahead. Up in the north, the Znala are also prospering, and down in the southeast, the Znala have many places in this planet where, like, this planet was pretty much fit for the Znala. Just how they live, Venus was a good planet to be on. The Ry'lehans seem to be dying out as a race, being newly created. It looks like they shouldn't have started that fight, but I think they'll be able to pull on. As for the Slovennians, the Slovennian scientists are starting to pull ahead. Actually, they just did pull ahead, as there's still food down here, and there's still oh no, they're out of food in the equator. Oh nope. Okay, so they'll make it. And the Znala are starting to move towards the north. The Slovennian scientists are also proving well in the south. It looks like just lucky food spawns are going to bring them into this. The Ry'lehans are surviving via a few equatorial colonies, and the Znala are eating out one of their final food sources down in the equator. There's one more, it seems. Oh no, they've got some in the... Okay, fine, in the western hemisphere of the equator. In the eastern, it's actually full of food. And it looks like the Slovennian scientists have just finished off what they've gotten from home. All that they've packed in the southern hemisphere is gone. It's really just not looking good for them. They scavenge to find more supplies, which they do, luckily. But the Znala are also fighting around the same area. We'll see what happens. The Ry'lehans are pretty much surviving off of very, very tiny colonies that are actually being attacked by the Znala. You can see large extinctional trails left behind by some of the Znala. They're starting to find a bit of pride for their race, the Znala. Now demanding the Slovennian scientists call them the Shann'el. Refusing, but the Slovennian scientists obviously refuse, being them their creation. They weren't treated like a creation, though. They were treated much nicer. They were treated like equals, almost. That's why there were Znala scientists at the time. But the Shann'el slowly start devolving into a much more primitive race than they were originally treated as. saying that they want to revive their gene seed and the brood in general. The Hob brood starts here. Chants are going on. The northeastern hemisphere is completely taken by them, destroying the Ry'lehans. With less than 30 Ry'lehans surviving in the south, the Znala take the north, and the Slovennian scientists are surviving wherever they can, including pillaging this one Ry'leh outpost. It doesn't look like they're going to have very much success here, but they do manage to safeguard a ton of the Ry'lehans away. As we continue to talk about the northeast for the Znala, Venus is starting to be known as the Slavellian planet, and a couple rebel forces, because they do exist, the thoughts and the minds of the people, a couple rebel forces start building up, saying that there shouldn't be alien outbreaks like this, aliens shouldn't exist. A cause worth fighting for happens. However, a large Slavennian extinction comes out over here, meaning a lot of the Iberian Alliance starts joining this rebellion. It's 500 years until any real, movement happens from the rebels. But still, that's only 500 years. In time, as goes on here, I think the last video I made of broods and breakages, that must be at least 1,000, maybe 1,500 years from now. Now that back when the Shann'el were a primitive race. The Shann'el were never that primitive though. They are starting out, but they were never too primitive. They were scientists after all. But they seem to try to be embracing the fact that they aren't human here, trying to be primitive, even though they aren't. I'm sorry if my voice is a little quiet at the moment. I just moved away from my computer. But the Slovennian scientists are surviving in the south, the colonies just bolstering. There's nothing that anything can really do to stop them. A small extinction starts happening, but there's always more scientists, as there's always science to be done. Two equatorial colonies survive, and the Ry'lehans start quickly mobilizing towards other food. It's very interesting. The Ry'lehans have barely been surviving this entire time. I can't believe they have, honestly. And the Znala are just getting swarmed by Slovennian scientists trying to quell the aliens. This is the earliest form of the rebellion right here. It looks like this might be the end for the Znala. Though a couple very, very small groups of Znala do make it away. Some jettison themselves to space to survive on other planets, but it looks like the Venetian population of the Znala is gone, as one of them remains. Nope. And the Znala are dead. The Ry'lehans barely surviving. A ton of Ry'lehans just grouped up to take out that Slovennian scientist. And honestly, guys, this might be the first time I see a blue win. They scatter along the ground, trying to fight this mass of scientists. Though these guys created them, they know how to fight them. The population is 260 to 30, as you can see in the bottom left. It's fun to see how these guys fight. The Ry'lehans don't seem to become a very massive power in the near future, but it doesn't look like history is done. We'll let it carry on. I can definitely see them making a comeback. They have been surviving, but it looks like, oh god, it looks like this Slovennian wave might be able to knock out a lot of them. When quite the contrary happens and a lot of Slovennians get knocked out during this, but the Slovennian population prospers up to 300. Oh, wavering on 300. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Yes, past 300. At about 90% of the population. And there goes the only Ry'leh food source. It looks like it might be down. Yeah, it looks like the Ry'lehs are dead. And it seems the Blues win the Slavennian Alliance. This just goes to show you don't mess with Slavs. Venus belongs to humanity, and therefore we get to watch the Slavennian Alliance die out, because that's always a fan favorite. Thank you guys for watching. It seems the Ry'lehs were massively destroyed today. This one feels like it went by really fast, though it's been 20 minutes. The Ry'lehs were massively, just utterly and horribly destroyed. And they survived very, like, it was very luckily that they survived. Very few of them ever managed to get from place to place. They fought a good fight, but unfortunately, the creators are the ones who ended up taking the cake. Deer re-extinctions throughout the planet as Venus becomes unhospitable, even to the humans. And we just hit 16 minutes of recording as the population drops 50, 40, 30, 25, 20, 10, 9, 7, 3, 0. The Slovennian population is dead. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cuboid Sandbox. I'll upload it eventually. I can't do it right now because my internet's down. So I guess I'm just going to throw this baby into processing. Bye. I'll see you guys next time.